And at a conference in Geneva, 2 delegates give their answer to the age-old question, how long should you stay in a broom cupboard when you've walked into it by mistake?
He's going to lead us into the future.
Kilroy's back, look. The suntan's back.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, the future is orange, isn't it?
Do you think it's a good idea that Tony Blair's returned?
No! It's a ghastly nightmare. The idea that Brown was thinking, I'm not doing very well, I wonder what'll help. Oh, get Blair back. He's popular. Iraq went down well.
Did anyone see the debate about Blair's speech on Newsnight?
If it was televised, yes. Several people, I should imagine.
I'll rephrase the question. Did anyone here see the debate about Blair's speech on Newsnight?
Well, we should start with the front row. Let's see.
Did anybody, not including the audience or people that work on the show, apart from us 5, not including me because I know the answer, see the debate about Blair's speech on Newsnight?
No.
Gentlemen, actually put up taxes on the poor in order to cut taxes on the middle class. If that's not all fairness, all I can say is you better keep it.
Prescott really objecting to anyone who can talk properly.
He looked like Rob Hull after he'd lost his luggage.
Incredible advert for democracy, wasn't it? 3 men just shouting at each other.
Do you wish that Robert Kilroy still... But that's because you mentioned him earlier. Would you think he should return to the UKIP throng?
No, I don't. He was ghastly.
Absolutely.
Sorry, was he a mate of yours?
Yes.
I apologise. I'm sorry, but no, he was awful.
You can say what you want about Kilroy, but you've got to admit he does know how to present a game show.
Their fate will be in each other's hands as they decide whether to share or to shaft.
It's not nice, is it?
The last thing you want to hear on your honeymoon.
When he came on this show, we had some footage of someone throwing fertiliser at him, which was followed by the immortal joke of the shit hitting the tan.
You know, really, you have the charisma of a damp rag and the appearance of a low-grade bank clerk. And the question that I want to ask, that we're all going to ask is, who are you? I've never heard of you. Nobody in Europe had ever heard of you. And I can say with confidence that I can speak on behalf of the majority of the British people in saying, we don't know you, we don't want you, and the sooner you're put out to grass, the better.
Can I just ask, have you ever done a best man speech before?
I thought it was quite moderate and reasonable. I don't know what the audience thinks.
How could you speak on behalf of the British people on the size of your vote?
Well, I could say with confidence that nobody in Britain knew who he was. I mean,
I can say with confidence I've been to the
knew
moon.
who he
It doesn't mean
was.
it's happened.
Did you know who he was?
Yeah, that's Sven-Goran Eriksson. No, you mustn't assume that the general population is as ignorant as you are.
Remember that, then.
You're actually standing for election, aren't you?
I am. Oh, sorry. I thought you were trying to bring me in.
Why not?
Channel 4 dispatches set up a fake company that literally said, we're a lobbying company, if we give you a lot of money, will you introduce us to famous people and get the law changed? And a parade of Labour MPs came in and said yes. Starting with Stephen Byers, said, I'll be £5 grand.
Then what were they claiming they could do for this?
That's what I don't
£5 grand.
Basically, they said, we can get the law changed. We'll introduce you to Tony Blair or Peter Mandelson. I'll get you inside the cabinet. You just give us your money as a company and we'll change the law, which technically is corruption.
A bit like a sort of cab for hire, I suppose, at the moment. Well, at the moment, my sort of scale is between, it varies, but it's usually between 3,000 and 5,000 a day.
That's not fair, because the subtitles came up before he spoke, so he's obviously reading them.
But the great thing about that is Byers having been caught. And the producer of the programme said, we couldn't believe how stupid they were. I mean, the office looked rubbish. We hadn't dressed it very well. There's one pot plant. There's a girl sitting there with a sort of bag with hidden camera in it. Sign saying hidden camera.
Cameraman in the next bag, hidden there. Sound guy hanging from the ceiling.
I mean, these people are genuinely corrupt. Jeff Hoon and Hewitt tried to topple Gordon Brown. Not only do they believe that democracy can be bought and sold, but they think they should determine who's the Prime Minister. Not that this should influence how any of you vote. There's strict BBC rules about this stuff, so just look at the corruption and take it in.
That's the campaign slogan, isn't it?
What's the Tories' own secret weapon been up to this week?
We've got a secret weapon. By its very nature, we know nothing about it. Ridiculous question to be asked. Is that the invisible man over there? I don't know. I think, is it right that the Tories' secret weapons got pregnant?
I hope not. It's
Would
Boris
that be right?
Johnson we're talking about. As if that man wasn't off-putting enough. Let's not think about him pregnant. That means there's going to be more little Boris Johnsons running around. Yeah, it was Nicholas Winterton who said that, MP for Macclesfield. You remember him?
Yeah.
Sorry, who was particularly annoyed about it? I've just given you the answer.
Nicholas
Winterton, MP for...
Macclesfield.
Well done, you're good at this, aren't you?
Yeah,
OK,
what's to repeat?
OK, I'm going to make it more difficult now. In future rounds, I'm going to ask the question before I give the answer. OK? You're going to be on your own from now on.
Danger Mouse.
Yes. Who was Penfold's friend? My God. How do you do it?
It's bound to come up one day.
UKIP MEP Nigel Farage admitted that he has taken £2 million of taxpayers' money and expenses, employs his wife to run his office, paid from his allowances, and is hoping to become an MP at the next election. Well, he certainly ticks all the boxes.
Do we get right a reply here?
Yes, yes.
The money didn't go to me. That's
Wasn't
the
it
point.
for your party and your offices?
Didn't go to me, it went to employees.
All right, you nicked it. So, at the end of that round... OK, right to reply.
No, OK, it's a fair cop. I accept it.
No. You wouldn't stand up very long in court, would you?
No,
I didn't kill them, didn't you?
money-
All right, I did. Go on then.
I didn't actually get the money. They've realised that Hollywood isn't actually in America at all. It's in Essex.
The Sun compared the two towns. What did they say they had in common?
They've got the Basildon Walk of Fame. If you've ever paid council tax in Basildon, they put a star on the pavement. I've got no idea. No idea what it is.
Is that outside the Chinese restaurant?
Exactly, yeah. Something about hyenas' laughter, isn't it? The laughter is a sort of coded... They send a lot of messages to each other through the laughter. They can communicate things like, oh, zebra here, or...
When they see a lion, what do they actually do?
Lion!
High-pitched laugh. Sarcastic laugh. Lion!
That's not a
scared
sarcastic
laugh.
I don't think hyenas do sarcasm, do they?
No, they do a laugh where they pretend they've got the joke, but they haven't really...
One of those. Well, like that one.
Like that.
A story of this magnitude has inevitably set internet message boards alight, of course.
Absolutely.
Yes. What did Chris from France write on the Daily Mail
How the hell
website?
do we know what Chris from France? It's bad
Well, I
enough
gave
when
you a
ask-
clue. I say he's from France.
Oh, shit. Something like that.
You can't even have an imaginary cigarette on television anymore.
Can't you?
No, that's banned.
Really?
It really is
It wasn't
banned.
lit.
You're...
Do we buzz in? Suppose we do, don't we? I hope it's going to be sorted out before the election.
Only one of them's got two heads.
Which one?
One with two heads.
Oh, that one. Haunted sunbed what?
Was there some story about Jordan moving out of her house? God, I'm so embarrassed to have
Of
read
all
this.
the people... Of all the people, I wasn't expecting to get this answer.
She's moved out of her house, apparently, because it's haunted. This story's totally untrue, and it's filled up 4 pages of the Star.
Is the sunbed haunted? Or the house is haunted? If you're moving out the house because the sunbed's haunted, you just get rid of the sunbed.
You did hear the bit where I said Jordan, didn't you? Come here, been worse. It could have said haunted sunbed forces Jordan to invade Israel. Wasn't it? Now that would be a story, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Massive dog. We'll go for massive dog.
Yeah.
Massive dog.
After a photo call in Downing Street, Gordon Brown tells colleagues that if any of them doubts his ability to win the election, they should come in for a private chat. And just a few minutes later, John Prescott pops into number 10 to use the downstairs loo.
You're allowed to use any... previously, the rules were that you can't have a proper noun, so you couldn't have Paul. No. You could have Hislop, but that's probably means something. Yeah. I think it means man who increasingly looks more like his spitting image puppet than he does. I think that's what it means.
No, we don't know whether this is the puppet or not yet. Let's decide out, you might be right.
I was brought up no proper names. Now, according to the owners, you can use words like Beyonce, which I gather is a type of tree. Still don't like your definition of Hislop. And particularly coming from someone wearing that particular moustache.
Well, I think last week you had the guy from UKIP on and they wanted someone more right-wing. I was the only person. Slight misunderstanding. I'm doing a show about reclaiming...
You're doing a show in which you play Bob Ainsworth, the Defence Secretary.
That's the next year's show. It could be... It's called Hitler Moustache. I'm trying to reclaim the toothbrush moustache for comedy. Charlie Chaplin had it first, didn't he? You know about him. Yeah. And then Hitler came along, kind of ruined it for everyone, didn't he? It was probably the worst thing he ever did. I have to say...
As far as history records.
But that's explained it. I'm very happy now.
Good. Hopefully that'll stay in the show, or I'm just going to look like an idiot.
UKIP would score 10.
UKIP would...
I'm saying you'd be allowed it, wouldn't you? It'd be quite a good use of... Because a K and a U are nasty to get rid of to get there. I mean, up till now, we've only had Orc. It's had to be Orc.
Can I phone my agent? I think I'm booked in the wrong show. I think it's a change of day that's confusing.
They're off. Look, it's double act. OK, so this is the election. It's incredibly exciting. They said, we're going to announce the election, and then they did. Yeah. And it was brilliant.
May 6th, which is Tony Blair's birthday.
Something to celebrate.
What better present than to see Gordon Brown comprehensively beaten?
But even on the campaign trail, he's fantastically competitive. Have a look at this.
What age are you? 5. My son's 6.
That's not even the symbol for 5.
Also, I checked Gordon's figures. He's had some problems with those. If they're anything like the defence budget or immigration, his son's probably 18.
Well, here's Gordon with his secret weapon, the lovely Sarah.
Oh, yeah, right.
And there's Cameron with the lovely Samantha. And there's Nick with... and Sam Cam, as she's called. Why can't people speak properly? Sam Cam is what she's now called, isn't it?
Well, everything has to be shortened. Sue Bow.
They never do that for Pete Doherty, do they? For some reason.
No, you're right. Schoolboy.
Is he used as bait for Roman Catholic priests?
Not yet.
OK, give us a clue.
No, OK, here we are, second picture.
Oh, yes, children are allowed to judge their teachers.
That's right,
so
yes.
Things come in, haven't they?
That's
so they asked
right.
him, if you were on X Factor, what would be your favourite song you would sing?
That's exactly right.
This is a really stupid idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like inmates choosing the governor of the prison. We'd like someone who opens the doors. Why on earth should they choose the teachers?
Well, it's the government project to give pupils more power.
I know
over
it's a
their
government
education.
project, but it's still pretty silly, isn't it?
Perhaps she's trying to explain to Gordon Brown that she's 5.
No, they're not thick-skinned enough to be interviewees on the Today
exactly
programme.
right. Exactly
Although
right.
the editor
Very
of the programme on Today said, I didn't say that. What I was saying, trying to make the difference between being a newsreader on television and being a journalist on the radio, and being a journalist on the radio need a thicker skin.
I think he's the one with the problem. I think it's like man flu. You know, he's a radio producer of a not terribly difficult show, so he has to say it's the most difficult thing in the world. It's like fighting a war. It's like being in a submarine when the air runs out. Women couldn't do it. I can, though, because I'm special.
And who's the woman on the chair?
I think she's not.
She's not important, is she?
Not important.
Just some woman that's there, you know.
I think it's just a woman
She's
on a
coming to
chair.
do the cleaning, probably.
Victoria, would you like to be on the Today programme?
Not after what I just said about its editor. I think it'd be awkward.
You could handle it, though. You could do that, couldn't you?
I'm not terribly good at an early morning start. If they moved the Today programme to about midnight, I'm in.
Because you're playing poker online all night.
Yes, that
If
is
you went
why.
to bed at a reasonable time, you could have a job as a person on Today.
You're so kind. I already have a mother. And...
Well, Sir William Ormerod, you know about.
When we had a memorial service for my dad, I got a tip-off that we might be visited by a serial gang of funeral crashers, who are these rather unsavoury people who knock about funerals of strangers in the south of England in the hope of a free drink. So I invented this chap called Sir William Ormerod and put him on the internet, and I said there'd be free drink after the funeral, but it was for family and friends only. And they all wrote to me and said, I was so sorry to hear of Sir William's death. What a lovely man. I used to know him in the 40s in Yorkshire. Stuff like that. Plan A was to actually hold the funeral and fill all the free sandwiches with laxatives. Then I thought that might be a bit childish. So I didn't do that. I just, once I knew who they were, wrote about them in the paper.
If they want free food, if you go to Holiday Inn Express before 9:30, there's just free breakfast there. They don't check you in. They don't check that you're staying at the hotel.
That's going to be an interesting rush on Saturday morning, isn't it? Got a tour coming up, haven't you? You
Yeah, I
advertised
know.
about a year ago, so
See?
you put money in the bank.
Yeah.
How's that going?
So it's all right, yeah. We're selling tickets, Paul.
You're
I
selling
think.
tickets, are you?
Not in Preston, sadly.
Not in
but, there is an Anthea Turner.
This is like a very, very, very poor Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That's how many tickets you've sold there.
I'll tell you one thing about this programme. Everybody's transfixed by a piece of paper that's coming down. That says a lot about our content, doesn't it? My God, what's this? Mary, coming from the kitchen, look!
I used to love politics, but not now. Yeah, this is just...
Oh, Anne Widdecombe.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, I've got this thing where I just suddenly say her name. This is one of the least embarrassing times it's happened, to be honest. I get quite excited tonight.
This is the Archbishop of York, who this week revealed I've actually had endless debates in pubs. Debates such as who spilt the pint, who's looking at whose bird.
You've never had that conversation in a pub, have you?
Me, no.
Have you ever been in a pub?
Yes. Why? Why not that?
I wanted to know what it was like.
Oh, I've been in a pub, me.
No, you look as though you're the sort of hard man who might have done.
Yes.
And had one of those conversations about
pints and
the birds and the pints.
Yes.
The pheasants.
Yeah.
Rats. You looking at my shoot.
This is the election.
Isn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
it absolutely is. And it's all go. They're wheeling out their top supporters. Heather Mills. For the Lib Dems.
Oh.
She's been paid by the other two parties. I mean, it's true. You feel incredibly sorry for the Lib Dems. Yeah. Who else is coming up? It's Dr. Criven.
We've got a cover of the Labour manifesto.
It's lovely. Who wouldn't want to live there?
It looks absolutely smashing.
It does. It looks like a nuclear explosion, doesn't it? You can sort of imagine them going, I remember when all this was banks.
Gordon Brown began the week in his home county of Fife. His wife, Sarah, got on the campaign trail, persuading voters that her husband is a nice, normal sort of guy. Unfortunately, she made the mistake of taking him with her. Which celebrities have come out in support of Labour?
David Tennant.
Oh, yes.
They've got Doctor Who.
Yes. Meanwhile, who's come out for the Lib Dems? I think we touched on this earlier.
Is it the Daleks?
It's the Daleks. Both the Daleks and, of course, the much-loved national treasure, Heather Mills.
I spent 4 weeks learning French with Esther Ranson in Provence.
Could you not have done a community service instead?
The week started badly for Labour thanks to this man. What did he do that people found offensive?
He tweeted.
Yes. Does anybody know exactly what he said?
He swore a lot on his texts.
It's even better.
And did he mention chavs?
He may have done, but that's not the answer on the card, Paul. Paul.
Ian.
Ian, it's worth us getting badges. I've always said it's worth us getting badges.
Who wrote the Tories manifesto?
Oliver Letwin.
Yes, it was.
Good plan, Emmanuel.
We've got a lovely picture of Oliver Letwin.
Yes.
There we go. I haven't seen that for a while.
Those are really working for him, aren't they?
Should have gone to Specsavers, shouldn't he?
What has David Cameron been using as a backdrop for photos to show he's in touch with the common folk?
I don't know.
The Labour Party have got a big wheat field.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not that?
To show they're in touch with wheat. Yeah. It's actually beer and bread.
There's a report this week, though, and it said that if white bread is, you know, cancerous and all that as well, it's not a good choice.
Are you saying he gives you cancer?
Yes, hypothetically.
In terms of balance, we have to suggest that also the leader of the Labour Party and leader of the Lib Dems will also give you very serious illnesses.
Very serious illnesses.
Very serious illnesses.
Well, Nick Clegg could give you a mild.
Like Chinese burn or something.
But Gordon will give you AIDS, so... Steady on there. You heard it here first. This week, David Cameron was accused of giving free advertising on his campaign trail to companies whose bosses have publicly supported his policies. By coincidence, he campaigned at B&Q, Fuller's Brewery and Warburton's Bakery, to name but 3. Quite a story which I first read about on my iPad. Brilliant bit of kit. So...
You were ashamed of yourself for a minute there. Did you advertise the Apple bits?
Yes.
Because I never knew on that ad which was which.
I was the smug, unbearable one.
Were we meant to buy your one?
You were. It was a confused
other one?
campaign. Yes, I was the unlikable one, and you were supposed to buy my computer, and David had all the funny lines, and you were supposed to despise him. Americans don't really get it about us. Anyway, good for us.
It's a man who's tried to post himself.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, it is. How does he get out with the loot?
Well, how does he get himself delivered in the first place? Does he just sort of get into the box outside a post office with the address on it in the hope that the postman will go, I must have missed that earlier. 15-stone package.
This isn't a British story, though, is it?
No, he's Polish.
Yeah, because you'd just die in the box, wouldn't you? Waiting to be sent.
They force him through the letterbox. do not bend. It specifically said do.
Doesn't really add up, that story, does it? If you'd escaped from prison, you'd probably sort of go somewhere rather than just run around a field late at night disguised as a sheep.
Well, if they add some... No, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I was going to go down the direction of inappropriate relations with other sheep.
There's nothing inappropriate as long as you love each other.
Yeah.
You try telling that to a B&B owner.
This is pornography for blind people.
Yes.
They've gone in at the sort of fetishy end, I would have to say. Going straight in with the gas mask.
It's saying the newsagents no feeling.
Can anyone guess what some of the images are of?
Well, there's got to be a bit of whoa in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah. Yes, and a bit of whoa, and a bit of
and a bit of sort of hey.
Yeah. I think actually this is pornography for the deaf.
Yes.
The odd one out's the man dressed as the banana, it must be.
For him, it's a positive thing. For everybody else, it's been a negative thing.
Yes, you've done this show before,
Yeah,
haven't
that's
you?
what happened.
Yeah, well, I don't know how they're going to divide up the points there, but yes...
I just give them all to Paul, it's
they-
the usual
okay.
practice.
Guys, you're tearing me apart!
Where is the Banana Museum, Robert?
I'm afraid I can't supply you with that information at this time.
But your call is important to us.
I was on my way back from the post office and I saw a neighbour coming down our passageway and he said to me, a rock has hit your car. So I just thought it'd be a little stone. When I saw the size of it, it was a 5-ton boulder.
Those Top Gear boys really are out of control.
Plucky Joan reacted to this very lucky escape. What did she say?
It's my husband who'll feel sorry for. He's in the front seat. They managed to get him out via the glove compartment.
What's going on in Holland with regard to thimbles?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. Everything.
Not much.
Not much?
Yeah.
Is that the answer?
Yes.
So nothing was quite right?
Yes.
Good.
Clogs, yes. Edam,
It's not
yes.
right. He said nothing and everything, and the answer was in between. You're not going to give him points for putting two extremities and the answer's a happy medium.
Well,
it's
it was...
pathetic.
Nothing was a kind of...
Imbalanced programme,
I
is
feel
this?
like a Lib Dem.
Oh.
I'll nip out and get you one.
Let Ian have the point on that one. I really don't mind.
No, I suppose you don't.
No.
Yeah, no, it's a waste of time. Forget it.
Yeah. On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and David Threlf.
Say off of Shameless.
The bloke off of Shameless.
Yes, this is a volcano, of course, in Iceland, and this is the emergency cabinet thrown together. People were stuck abroad, weren't they? And there they are, being stuck abroad.
Is Paul going to get points for knowing that a volcano exploded?
Various terribly important people got stuck, including you, in Poland.
I wasn't stuck. I just used my ingenuity and got back.
Yes.
We were in Poland, and I realised you couldn't make any jokes there because it was they were burying everybody, and so.
Oh, that's when people want to laugh. Yes. Get a whoopee cushion, you put it in the earth.
What did one American traveller say when she was told that all flights back to the States had been cancelled?
That's a shame. That made the news? Probably not, no.
No, she said, does that apply to business class? You were abroad as well this week, weren't you, Andy?
Was I?
Yeah. Don't deny it. We have some footage which proves that you were in Afghanistan.
In fact, Mr. Wally Raymond, why don't you just admit it?
Yeah, I'm a sleeper for the...
You bloody well aren't. You're the deputy leader of the Taliban.
Well, maybe now I'll get a bit of respect.
So it's not Afghanistan. So I'll just do this so that we cover... I do apologise. We're
That's
going
right.
to run into it now. This
I was
joke...
actually in Sidcup. That was just...
This joke has matured. You'll find it's like wine. It's much funnier now than it was a minute ago when you first heard it.
You wouldn't want to suggest that the leader of the Taliban had been in Afghanistan. That's seriously libelous.
Yeah, they're very
Andy.
touchy.
Yeah. So, Andy, you were abroad this week, weren't you?
Was I?
Just act.
He is, he's acting.
That was acting.
That was acting. If he wasn't acting, he said, you'd asked me that a minute ago, but he's acting.
That's good.
He's acting.
I was trying to be helpful.
It was good.
OK, I'll
It
act.
gets so much worse than this in a minute. Ready?
OK.
You were abroad this week, weren't you, Andy?
Were you or weren't you? Come on.
You were.
What are you? A member of the Taliban or something? God's sake.
There was one Scottish guy who really summed it up, I thought, rather well.
You only found out when you got to the airport. You didn't know in your hotel. Or...
I hate Iceland!
To be honest, he might have an issue with frozen food.
Did you have to rush back to present Top Gear?
No, Top Gear isn't on. Did you not notice?
No.
No.
That's not really your target audience. Actually, we're not.
Yeah.
If we can get him, we've won.
They did their classic act, and for the last few years they've gone, Nick Clegg, no one's heard of him. Nick Clegg. he does one debate and everyone goes, why isn't he under more scrutiny from the papers? Because you've ignored him.
You know, the second leadership debate is happening right now over on Sky. Brilliant scheduling, I think, there for the BBC. That's brilliant that they've... In fact, there's nobody there. I can just go fuckety-fuckety-fuck, because nobody's watching. They're all watching Nick Clegg on the other side. That's what it is.
Is that firm of solicitors?
Relax.
That's what my firm of solicitors.
No, they're fuckety-fuckety-fuck and son.
Oh, yes,
Yes, commissioners for oaths, I'm surprised.
I like the audience. Look at this. You've got Freddie Flintoff, if he was ever to take up murdering. Oh, no, we've got... Oh, Jesus is there. Every conceivable different type of person there, all saying, all three of them are all brilliant.
That's the ghost of John Lennon, I'm sure.
As soon as Clegg appeared, getting any sort of support, the right-wing papers went mad. The Times has put the boot in, and the Mail basically said, have a look at him, I think you'll find he's foreign. Not only is he married to a foreign person, his mother, foreign. Grandfather, foreign. Don't vote for him, because he's...
See, now, after Michael Caine, who's the next much-loved popular figure who's come out and risked it all, really, by admitting that he's supporting the Tories?
Paul Daniels.
No!
What's the initials?
GB.
Gordon Brown!
That's the biggest gaffe of this campaign, isn't it?
Was Alistair Campbell a good David Cameron when you were practising?
I've been working by going around the country, talking to people, listening to what they say, and I think what I'll say tonight reflects the messages that people are giving me.
Now, let's have a look at Mandelson's reaction to that.
That's a face that says, right, you're on the list.
What he does is he lays the bunny down, then he soothes Tammy, stroking her head like that.
It's lovely. Yeah.
Then he... oh, heavens, we'll skip over that. I'm really not sure what he's doing there. But anyway, I've got a photograph
It's one of the perks of the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got the hypnotised rabbit there, working on your own, gets lonely, doesn't it?
Got a photograph here of what Tammy looks like at the end. Clearly dead. There's no... I mean, that rabbit is dead, isn't it? But yes, this is Cliff Penrose, who is being hailed for his ability to hypnotise rabbits. Mr. Penrose employs a special technique to make a rabbit lie lifeless and still. Though I find a 4x4 is just as effective. Oh, God, I'm going to be in so much shit for that, aren't I?
Yeah. Last time you said that about a fox, you got arrested.
I did. The Metropolitan Police came round and I was interviewed by them for saying that I ran over a fox.
You sat there and you said, I ran over a fox today, and everyone went, ah, and you said, yeah, it took me hours. Goldman Sachs.
It's an investment bank, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you want any more financial advice...
I'll come round.
Yeah, me and Paul, we've made a bit of money on it, you know.
Yeah, be very, very happy to accommodate, you know what I mean, you know. Interested in an hypnotised rabbit at all, I'll shed them. Can't shift them.
OK, what should I do with my money?
Give it to me.
All right, I do know the answer to this. Goldman Sachs invented a bond to sell to people, which was based on subprime mortgages. So it was a pretty hopeless thing to sell to people. But they designed it to lose money, because one of their other clients was a big hedge fund manager who were betting on the bond to lose. So Goldman Sachs were selling this bond to you, saying this is terrific, and behind the back going to one of their clients, bet on this is complete rubbish. So Goldman Sachs basically proved that the entire financial collapse wasn't just an act of God or an accident, it was a fraud.
Can I just interrupt at this point?
Yeah.
Because I should make it plain, the law being as it is.
Yes.
Goldman calls the charges completely unfounded in law and fact.
What does Sachs say?
Yes. He completely agrees
what can you
with
do?
him.
You get caught, you get caught.
Frankly, I can't see any of this making it into the finished programme.
Are you worried about libel?
Yes. Unlike you, I haven't ever been done for it before.
I think there's very little chance of you getting any more than 2 years.
Yeah. And anyway, Jeremy, backstage you were saying what a bunch of crooks Goldman Sachs.
Yeah,
You could present your programme from your cell. The mission could be to walk from one end to the other in the shortest possible time.
And, of course, Top Gear does mean something different in prison.
Yeah.
I felt more comfortable with that there, just in case you wanted to throw any biros at me.
Do you know, I deliberately came out with nothing I could throw at you. I have no biro, I have nothing. You're quite safe. I drew blood last time I was here. I threw a biro at him and his lip bled.
Yeah.
It wasn't my lip, it was my cheek. It was right there.
Yeah.
And you said, it's red ink. Not only do you want to destroy the planet, you hurt me.
Honestly, I've never seen him going, oh, I need some antiseptic wipes.
Yeah. Well, you'd been handling it.
Eric Pickles, he proudly told his 4,500 online followers, which seems like a lot for Eric Pickles, but there we are, my shits are from M&S, which was warmly received by rival Fatty and noted wit John Prescott, who replied, that's some sponsorship deal you've got. An Iranian clerk has claimed that women are to blame for earthquakes.
It's a cleric.
Cleric. Honestly, it's time
It's a
to
guy who
put
does the
me-
driving licences.
Yeah.
I've got a driving licence and I can't see that that says clerk.
No.
It doesn't. It
says
says Jeremy
cleric.
Clericson.
Here we are, yeah. An Iranian cleric.
Yeah.
No, you're right, it does say
It
clerk.
does say clerk, but it just goes to show what a
But he
rank
wouldn't be-
amateur I am.
he
It
wouldn't
isn't
be
clerk, it's
quoted
cleric.
if he
No,
was
it's
a clerk.
But it is, but that said clerk, so you were...
Wait. An Iranian chap has claimed that... It's the way around all these. There's always a way around it, isn't there?
Welcome to Have I Got Election News for You? Specially recorded after election night, so we'd know exactly what the final outcome was. Well, that worked. On the kind of day that makes our political system the envy of the world, yes, we've got no government.
Does that mean we can do what we like?
Yes.
Good audience noise. That was fantastic. It's like you actually on that boat.
And on Paul's team is one of the few politicians who knows what the future holds for him.
Now, that's the Lib Dem votes being chucked in the river. Off you go.
My votes, my votes.
That's someone explaining they haven't a clue. Goodbye to you. Go and watch a film, one of your husbands. Hello, Gordon. Piss off. Well, the people have spoken, as Joe said, and they've said, not sure.
We don't know any of you.
Oh, what about you? I don't know. No, it's very exciting. We've got a new Prime Minister, Gordon Brown. You've never voted for him before, and you didn't vote for him this time.
It is indeed the overwhelmingly indecisive outcome of the election. In fact, we only know one result for sure. Don't we, Lembit?
Can we get on with this? I've actually got an appointment at the job centre in about half an hour.
They phoned earlier, they cancelled.
Now, Ian, this election has been all about compromise, and you were on the boat with Piers Morgan. Was that nice?
I'm not strictly at the same time.
Oh, right.
That was in the deal.
And...
Ships in the night.
Yes, fair enough.
Without the P.
What did...
You hear people trying to work that out? Shiz in the night.
I'm trying.
How many did you lose by?
About 1,200, actually.
You were second, though, weren't you?
Yeah, I came second, you know. I'm pretty pleased about that.
I'm trying to offer some comfort here.
Ian's used to coming second. He's used to it. It's nice. It's a nice place to be.
Often I'm third and there's only 2 teams. Yeah. Did you stay up for Lembit? It was. It's the most important thing that happened in the election.
Because?
It's quite funny.
I was expecting a bit more than that, wasn't you?
There was Jackie Smith. Lots of people stayed up to watch her be thrown
What
out.
time was Jackie Smith thrown out?
Anyone? Up? 3?
No.
You won't be drawn on figures, will you? Bloody public. They'll tell you anything. Bigots.
Yes, the results are in and the people have spoken. The final result is still up in the air, unlike UKIP's plane.
Oh, that's good. They're clapping a plane crash.
No, I think there's a mood in this audience today, which is a mood of sort of like, thank God it's over for a bit, and let's just take the piss out of the whole business. I think that's the mood that's in the audience today. So you're very lucky you haven't come to see the Antiques Roadshow.
I think they're feeling punitive. Plane crash. Then Bit loses job. Economy goes down the toilet. It's brutal democracy, isn't it?
No, but you are. You were horrible to me the last time I was on the show as well, you were.
I don't believe it. It's the sort of lies you politicians tell.
I'm not a politician!
Three at last! That's probably the best response you've ever had.
And I'm crying inside.
Yes, of course. Of course.
So, Paul, Ian, the old certainties are gone. It's time for unlikely alliances. Paul, could you ever find it in your heart to put your bitter rivalry to one side and form a coalition with Ian?
Yeah, all right.
Go on, then.
I've got a feeling you're going to win this week. Have a look, Lynn, but see how it's done.
Yeah.
This is much better. I love sitting here. This is great. I'll sit here forever for now on.
Can I say I've always wanted this?
Yeah.
I've argued for it for years. And any suggestion that I'm doing it as a matter of convenience is not true. I agree with Nick. Paul.
Do you want to do a rabble-rousing speech on behalf of our coalition?
I think what we offer is not them, basically. People are sick of you coming on here, making fun of the contestants, you know? Just because I'm having a bit of a hard time at the moment, lend us the price of a cup of tea, I'll give it back to you next week. I don't mean nothing, Governor. I've got me harmonica and can play that for you if you want. And I have. No, I have.
Gotta find some change.
I have.
Are we witnessing a mental breakdown?
You do the singing and I'll do the playing.
Are you happy to stay there?
Yeah, very happy.
Yeah, OK. Let's move on, then.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying it's permanent. It may only be around.
Yeah.
We will let the public decide.
Or it may be...
Don't do that.
Forever. To be naked.
OK, get on with it.
This is great. You're right in the middle of it. It's just sitting on the end like a bozo. No offence.
And this was a happier time for me. And a very happy time for him, because he practiced that smile probably all his life. Just for that screensaver moment.
The bitterness is just oozing out of the man.
You'd be bitter if you were me.
Yeah, I would. But I'm not, so I'm not.
There's no way during this campaign David Cameron hasn't got in his car after a meet and greet and gone, what a dickhead.
See, I mean, you know...
Yeah, but he didn't get caught doing it, so the word dickhead tends to apply to the Prime Minister.
Then spent 40 minutes in her house saying sorry. That's a long apology. Yeah,
and she didn't
vote
vote for
you
him.
suggesting there was something else going on? Mate, it was all a bit of a plan on his part. Call him a bigot. Pop back later. Sorry about that. Then comes out grinning. That's the way I read the situation politically.
You should really write porn.
Too busy living it, mate.
Now they're applauding pornography. Pornography air crashes. This audience will applaud anything. No wonder they couldn't come to a decisive decision at the poll.
I've got a dead kitten in my pocket. Thank you, that was great.
So, Gordon Brown is still Prime Minister despite Biddygate.
Yes.
According to the Mail on Sunday...
He might not be by the repeat.
No.
You could have David Miliband as Prime Minister, and you haven't voted for him either. That'd be exciting, that, wouldn't it? Or Harriet Harman. Oh, no.
Seems that Harriet Harman's not as popular as a dead kitten.
What, according to the Mail on Sunday interview, went on when Gordon was inside Gillian Duffy's house?
I think Paul's just told us.
It is not quite accurate.
It is.
And do you know what went wrong with Labour's relaunch after Biddygate?
Oh, there was actually a car crash.
There was.
A metaphor became life.
Seeing as this
Your
audience
campaign...
likes a crash,
yeah.
should we have a look at it?
You'll love this.
Creating tax fairness, making sure that our pledges...
It's actually alleged by the driver that he was bumped by the occupants of a rubbish truck shouting abuse from an adjacent roundabout. We've actually got his actual drawing of the accident from his insurance claim.
That's a good poster. Labour are not rubbish.
Now, there have been a few problems on all sides to do with presentation. There was a technical problem when William Hague appeared to be speaking with Theresa May's voice.
Oh, good. love a ventriloquist act.
Sticky moment, perhaps, on inheritance tax cut for the rich. This isn't about fairness.
No, David Cameron was very strong on substance, very strong on leadership. He showed he was Prime Ministerial, and he clearly showed that it's the Conservatives that have got the answers, that have got the policies that will really get them
I think he's been told by David Cameron to sound a bit more posh.
Well, they are posh, the Tories, though, aren't they?
Ooh.
Did you go to a posh school?
Yeah, minor public school, Ardingly. Yeah.
That's where all the miners go.
I think I'll have him back on my side.
Should we do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Shall I
fair
have him
enough.
back?
And the
Sorry about
coalition
that.
has fallen.
Good to be back.
Yeah, I've always said I wanted to be with you.
Yeah. Sinking ship over there, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
You two, and two.
Did anyone see some of the last-minute endorsements of the various party leaders?
Simon Cowell.
Simon Cowell, Tories, obviously. Tories.
Nick Clegg obviously had Colin Firth.
Yep. Didn't the Labour Party have you? Didn't you do a video?
A video? Yes. Not the sort of video you're thinking of, though, Ian.
No, I wasn't.
And it's also emerged, apparently, that Gordon Brown is old friends with Kate Bush.
So what?
As a kite by then, I miss the earth. It's lonely out in space.
I think we're going to find not the uniform swing we've known in other places. We're going to find a lot of surprise results. We're going to be saying, gosh, how did so-and-so manage to hang on there? Crikey, wasn't it surprising that so-and-so lost their seat? I mean, as an example of a possible surprise, we've been hearing from both Labour and from the Conservatives tonight that the government chief whip, for instance, Nick Brown, is under a lot of pressure from the Liberal Democrats in his Newcastle seat. But at the end of the day, my feeling is that David Cameron will become Prime Minister in the next few days, probably on Friday or Saturday, probably somewhere in the late 200s or 300s.
Because there's some imbecile behind you doing funny faces and doing funny walks. So we'll have to. We might.
I think he's gone away now. I think.
All right.
I think he's gone away now.
Continue with your dissertation then. Go on.
Yes. as I say, I think David Cameron will probably become Prime Minister in the next few days, with the caveat of all the...
OK, thanks a lot, Michael.
He did indeed say, I've gone from being Churchill to a Nazi in a week. A typical Lib Dem, always changing their minds, I suppose.
Well, we are and we're not.
What's all this we stuff?
I can be a member, you know.
No, it's going to be who, sir? Oh, no, Mr. Opie.
Well, one person did say to me, didn't you used to be Lembatopic? Come on.
You get work as a lookalike for him.
Do you think I get the job?
God, that's his level of self-confidence. You don't think you'll get a job as your own lookalike. You see, this is what the public do to politicians. They just knife them. Absolutely. Feet are taken away.
Et tu, Basildon South.
Yeah.
So, the final scores, because, yes, that's where we are. Ian and John have 2.
Look, I had Paul half the time. You can't count that against me.
I had Paul almost all the time, right?
Yes. Well, how does it feel to be a winner?
Able to secure...
Good, isn't it? Good.
As the polls close, Gordon reveals that he's not quite sure how it happened, but he appears to have cast his vote for David Cameron.
This is very good news. It's the first gay couple to run Britain. I'm excited. I'm very excited by this. I hear that sort of journalists now are quite keen to prise these two apart, because it doesn't seem right. That seems to be the sort of view, doesn't it? That this is the journalism's prime role now is to prise these two apart and show the differences between them. Would you agree with that, Julia?
I think so. There's quite a lot of differences, otherwise they'd probably be in the same party.
But that's how coalitions work. I don't understand why journalists don't appear to be able to see what the definition of a coalition is. Those two people don't appear to be in the same party. How can they be in a coalition? It wouldn't be a coalition if they're in the same party. It'd be a majority government, you thick bunch of bastards.
Into a coalition deal that only just gets you...
Can you keep your mouth shut for a moment, love?
Love.
No, the brilliant thing was, when they interviewed her afterwards, she said, well, at least he didn't punch me.
For now, the other two main parties are gathering. How do you get together and try and organise some sort of polling as far as this is concerned? Will you be... Is
that what the Director General does these days?
But why do they take them all outside and expose them to this? There's this whole trend.
Because it's funnier.
I just think it was ridiculous. They were like, Clegg was just going between the two of them, just trying to get a bit more and a bit more and a bit more.
But isn't that what negotiating is? I don't understand why journalists find this so hard to understand. What was Nick Clegg doing? How dare he try to secure the best possible deal for his party? What is wrong with you people?
Because he's saying it's all about the country.
Inane question.
Because he's saying it's all about the country.
Of course he's saying it's all about the country, because you people would be right on a piece of jacksie if he didn't, wouldn't you? If he actually said, well, this is actually about politics and this is how politics works, you bunch of 4-year-olds. Then you wouldn't be having any of it.
Well, we wouldn't have
As it is, you're not having any of it.
Who's not having any of it?
Well, I'm not.
Oh, right.
I don't really feel this is the forum in which to discuss that.
Let's have a look at this live interview. Beside Alistair Campbell, when Labour were trying to reach an agreement with the Lib Dems. Shouldn't
This
be
is
long.
just like rolling news. This is great. Can we go over to someone now and lose the sound?
Just one moment. You have to press play and record. What, that long-ass sentence? God. OK.
It's awful being an actor, isn't it?
Nobody understands.
You should try speaking clearer.
actually upset that David Cameron's not
I'm
Prime
not
Minister?
upset either way.
You are. You probably are.
Come on.
Don't
keep casting aspersions on what I think.
Calm down.
I am commenting. Don't keep saying what I think.
This is live on television.
No, don't keep telling me what I think. This is what you do. You come on and say, no one won the election. No, don't. You talk to me. I'm fed up with you telling me what I think.
I don't care what you're fed up with. You can think what you like. I can tell you my opinion.
Don't tell me what I think.
I will tell you why I think you'll react.
Alistair, you're being very...
You are so concerned about our procedure.
You, totally unelected, have plotted this.
Me?
With and you're elected. You're up here speaking about him. No, but he's...
No, that's because the minister's going to a cabinet meeting.
He's got a parliamentary party. You're the one who cooked it up. You're the one who's cooked this up with Peter Mandelson.
Let this debate carry on later.
Calm down.
Let's just remind you that Gordon Brown said a few minutes ago that seems to have led to this latest round of the debate. This is Gordon Brown's state.
Ofcom are investigating over 300 complaints about
all from Adam Bolton.
That's amazing. 300 people watch Sky. That's phenomenal.
Does it, Alistair does bring that out in you, though.
It's a gift, though, isn't he? He's good at it.
But fancy being involved in an argument with Alistair Campbell and you ending up being the one who goes mad and looks like a lunatic. I mean, that is traditionally Campbell's job. He's also suggesting that Sky is biased. What's new? He used to say the BBC was biased and then went bonkers and tried to close it down. This is what Alistair does. Or did.
Oh, no, does.
With any luck, we're not going to see him anymore. Bye-bye, Alistair. Bye-bye, Mandy.
They're hosting the show next week.
Gordon Brown has gone. He's done the decent thing.
He's not done the decent thing.
He has. He stepped aside.
Well, no, but not immediately. No, doing the decent thing would have been on Friday morning.
You don't talk about barnacles stepping aside when you chip them off.
Again, what was he supposed to do? Constitutionally, he was the Prime Minister. It was his job to stay on until another government could possibly be formed.
No, he was going to stay on until October.
I don't understand how the country works.
No, you do.
No.
Threatening to leave your party in 6 months' time and saying, I will sort out the deal, so I will hang on that long, is not constitutional.
No,
that is an attempt to cling on to power. That is Mr. Barnacle doing what he does. It's no good saying I hate journalists because they happen to be critical of this particular thing. That's just cobblers.
No, I don't understand.
The party
I hate journalists.
with the most votes had the chance to form the party.
It was very nice to me in the dressing room.
Well, that's the Chrissy special.
When he finally resigned, I think, for the first time, he looked genuinely happy.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the first time he'd reflected the public mood.
No, I know. Do you see Wednesday's Mirror? It actually had a pull-out tribute section with Gordon. But it was Britain's 52nd Prime Minister. And I thought you've missed out a word there. Worst.
52nd worst?
Oh,
that makes him literally the best, doesn't it?
Mirror journalist Jason Beattie wrote, Cameron is our 53rd Prime Minister, but for how long? Forever, dickhead. The next one will be the 54th. And so, to round two.
Only round two?
Why is it going... It's going backwards. That just makes me look a tit. I'm going to swing for you in a minute.
I don't think this acting thing's going to work out for you, Martin.
According to the Mail on Sunday, he likes to offer people smints and tell them that they're Viagra. Not a soft mint, then. See what I've done there? Yes. By way of a joke.
How have you fooled into thinking that Viagra had a delicious minty taste and made your breath good?
He doesn't need Viagra.
He's a wonderful man.
He's got an escalator that goes to the top floor.
Shall I get rid of this before I put fingers on buzzers?
No, that's all right. Keep that.
We like that? OK.
I think so.
It's bugging me, that's all. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Here's the next one. Oh, I see.
Yeah. When you win a play, are you always surprised by how it finishes?
Shut your face. If you know who's on the phone before it answers, Oh, for goodness sake.
I'll do it for you if you want.
Would you mind?
Yeah. If you know who's on the phone before you answer it, then what?
Is that me?
That's it.
Is that me? Ian and Julia have 7. Paul and Chris have 8.
Oh, it's a robbery.
It should have been a lot worse.
So does that, in the new era, does that technically mean I've won?
You're deputy winner.
That man, Liam Byrne, who was Secretary to Treasury, left a note on his desk saying there's no money. Ha ha ha! I mean, it would be funny if it wasn't true.
We've put the army on eBay.
Who are notable by their absence from the coalition cabinet?
Women. And I think that's pretty outrageous. A group of men, yet again, all the same age, sitting behind desks, not one woman there. Seems to me a pretty shoddy arrangement for any sort of sensible organisation, and I'm against it.
Ian, you alluded to this earlier. What did the new Treasury Secretary, Lib Dem David Laws, find on his desk when he arrived in the office on his first day?
You're right, I did allude to it in the sense that I said it.
Yes.
But let me allude again.
Well, there we are. You can laugh at anything, can't you?
You can, indeed. The idea that Spain is trying to bribe referees is, of course, ridiculous. Yes, because it's usually the Italians, isn't it?
Right. First of all, your opening line is, there's that pizza trading, eye tiddly eye tie, wart-faced loon who's come on the show. And then you talk about corruption and the Italians, and the camera, I notice, goes straight on me.
But when they also mentioned the joke about somebody being bored, the camera cut to Ian. He didn't complain.
Yeah. But that was funny.
Oh, I see.
I understand.
Coming up later in the programme, buy one, get one free, the double banana that's causing a storm in the fruit world. But first, our picture spin quiz. Fingers on the buzzers, team. Robert and Paul.
Well, Eamon.
Don't ask me.
I've recently been in Hertfordshire looking at magic tortoises. And also, this is a story about a man who, what's going on?
Where does Jack think that missing piece might be?
Is it down the back of your sofa, Eamon?
Nope. Is it Gibraltar?
Nope. Now, the really tragic side to this was that not only did he lose the piece...
Can you put on a sad face?
No, yeah, it is.
This is
sad.
daytime TV.
Yes.
Yeah. The really
tragic part of all of this was that the manufacturers had stopped making Jack's jigsaw.
That
is. But they did do what?
They made a piece specially for Jack. Happy face, Eamon.
Happy face, Ian. Well done. Well done. They did that. They did that.
Oh, is that someone telling you this item's gone on long enough, Eamon?
Yeah. Somebody talking to me there?
Yeah,
You're not psychic, are you? Does the name Elvis Presley mean anything to anybody here?
Oh, you're telling me what the jigsaw was called?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, right.
Yeah.
News just in.
Apparently,
It's
news
called-
just in.
Yeah, the return of the prodigal son.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
The
I
jigsaw
can
was.
read it. I've never been able to read this autocubus. I didn't know we had one. I thought everybody in the middle was just really bright. Complaints about everybody's sort of vocal inflections, apart from Lady Gaga, who got into trouble for miming.
No.
Nope.
Lady Gaga doesn't sing at all. Her voice is genetically modified and comes out of a telephone on the top of her head. And the Russell Crowe thing, it was...
It's tricky. He changed his voice several times during the film, didn't he? I mean, that's what
he?
Lawson said. You know, he was Irish for a bit and he was north of England for a bit.
Would you say that to his face?
Is he here? Is he coming along? I mean,
I think we blew the budget on the sofa, to be honest. But that was money well spent.
Poker Face. Yeah. Because one of her singles, Ian, is called Poker Face.
I knew that.
You want to sing it?
Poker
He was in the video.
face, you've got a poker face.
Russell Crowe definitely had voice coaching for his latest role as Robin Hood. Who did he base his accent on?
Oh, I know this.
Yes, yes.
He said it was based on Michael Parkinson.
He did.
Which is why Robin Hood, at the opening scene in the forest, says, "Ladies and gentlemen, can I welcome Jamie Cullum?"
He did. According to The Independent, since joining the BBC, Robert Peston has undertaken voice coaching 3 times a week.
He hasn't, no.
It's all bollocks! I have never attended a voice coach lesson in my life. People of Britain, run for the hills!
This is from Meat Packer, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Meat Packer?
Is the paper not called Meat Packer? Meat Paper?
Meat Paper. Yeah, it's...
different thing. Yeah, right. A wider circle of readership, I think you'll find.
It's more... I've wandered into a zone of which I know very little.
Let me take you by the hand. I'll lead you through the back streets of London and show you something that will make you change your mind.
Where have you put your Oyster card?
Mind the gap. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you and good night. Oh, good evening. Nice to see you. And welcome to... What's the matter?
No, nothing. Were you just passing?
I just realised today it's been 7 years since I last did this show. 7 years. So thank you all for having me back so soon.
There she is. She's even older than you, Bruce.
Actually, she isn't.
Isn't she really?
OK. So get your facts right. I'm having no nonsense with you.
The Queen is, what, 84?
No, she's 78, 79, something like that. I'm 82. I love those old people that come up to you and they're always a bit short and they look up and say, I'm 84, you know.
And I'm still presenting.
If you're going to be a heckler, get in the audience. And then I'll deal with you as I sit. Go on, yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Do you mind moving your head? The light's shining right in my eyes.
No, I will behave, Bruce.
We couldn't do the show without you.
Oh, really?
It would be better, but we couldn't do this show. Start with me, son. How dare you ad-lib with genius? Right. Are we ever get to the show?
It says there the Queen is 84. Just come up.
Oh, is it the Queen?
Yeah.
Really?
So the getting the facts right bit, Bruce.
So you're younger than the Queen.
I very rarely say this, and I never thought I'd say it to you. I'm sorry. Who's the biggest loser out of all this? Anybody know who was the biggest loser?
Civil service, somebody said.
This is the easiest episode of this I've ever done. Brilliant. Normally you have to read the papers and stuff, but you just shout it, they'll edit that out, and we'll go like that.
Yeah.
You want to have another stab at it? Who is the biggest
Is it the civil
loser?
service, Bruce?
No, it isn't.
No!
It's not. What did you do then?
Isn't Stoke lovely? It isn't Stoke, is it? It is. It's Stoke. You can trust Stoke. It tastes good enough to eat with nothing on. All right, my loves?
That is embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. I must tell you about those Stalk commercials. One of them, I had to eat these scones.
Yeah.
You know, with the Stalk on, and I had to do it. Didn't it spread well? And I had a bucket down here. And didn't it spread well? And I go... And once I had to do it 9 times. With this... Oh, it was terrible. Oh, mind you, if Stalk people are looking in, I'd do another commercial. For a Brucey bonus, does anyone know...
A Brucey bonus?
Yeah.
What the hell is a Brucey bonus?
Well, you'll never get one for a start. She reportedly replied, I effing hope not. I'm not swearing on this show. I've never sworn on British television, and I've got...
But the way you were looking at me before, I reckon you will by the end.
And I can't stand the salty little buggers anyway.
You just sworn on television.
Yeah. I did!
And it said beggars.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I effing did. Right.
If you met her, you could say you get nothing for a pair in this game.
Bruce, he knows every single catchphrase you've ever used. He knows everyone.
Oh, yeah. I think we're at a disadvantage here.
Yes.
Laura, because we don't remember any of these shows. You're too young to have seen any of them.
Hang on a second. What you're saying, you're at a disadvantage because Paul and I have stalked Bruce for years. We've become encyclopedic knowledgeable on his career.
You know catchphrases from his old shows.
Yes, yes, you see.
You react to his adverts in the 70s like old friends.
When you said stalking, that was a subtle reference to the advert.
It was, yeah. I even have one of his records.
No.
Yeah. Did me do well? Oh, did me do well? Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, Bruce, you can come at me, but I've got the ammunition. It's all in there.
All right. Do you remember My Little Budgie? My Little Budgie. You see, you're too young to remember, and Ian couldn't care less about catchphrases.
Well, Ian, when he was younger, had the ITV button off his television set removed by Harrods. It was a family decision. Yeah, it was a family decision.
And I don't regret it.
I'm with you, Ian, on this. I'm with you.
But I'm really... Look, can you give us a bit of My Little Budgie later? The song.
Make it clear.
Yeah, I'm not after a Brucey bonus.
My little budgie follows me everywhere I go.
Is he here tonight?
Oh, no, he's not here tonight. Right.
So you had a song about a budgie that followed you.
Yeah,
were you like the sort of softest pirate ever?
What sort of era are we talking about?
You're talking about
Mesolithic or...
No, early 50s.
Early 50s?
No, early 60s.
Early 60s. Sort of time of the Beatles and the Stones.
And My Little Budgie. Comedy novelty records, huge hits in the 60s, weren't they?
Oh, they were.
Yeah, Bernard Cribbins had several.
Hole in the ground.
Yeah. Right said Fred.
Climbing up a ladder.
Left his crowbar, going what now?
Is he in trouble? Off down a robber. We're getting nowhere. And so we had a cup of tea. Charlie had a think and he said, look, Fred, I've got a sort of feeling. If we remove the ceiling, with a rope or two, we can get the bladder flu. All right, 6 feet. Was he in trouble?
God, you remembered all that? That was fantastic.
So while Ian was at Oxford learning stuff,
the two of us were in the music hall.
All of a sudden, he's green with envy. He would have loved to have got up and done that with you.
Exactly.
Wouldn't you, Ian?
Yes, Bruce.
How fast is she moving? It's unbelievable. Has she just been fired out of a cannon?
According to The Sun, which film did she charge £300 to take part in? What's that?
Shut your face!
You can't say that to
I do
my
apologise.
audience. Shut your face, You can't. Remember, I'm the host.
That's 80s, I think we're looking at there.
The 80s? It's a sleeping bag is what we're looking at. Is that how little money she's got now? She's so homeless, she actually has to wear that sleeping bag around her.
They're round 2, which this week is called Brucey's Got Talent. All you have to do is buzz in when you know the new story it relates to. Okay. Music gives you the cue. OK. Has my 40-piece orchestra arrived? What? Where? Right, OK, are we ready?
Is it My Little Budgie?
No, it's not. Come fly with me. Let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come fly with me. Let's fly away. Oh, come fly with me. Let's float down to Peru. In Llama Land, there's a one-man band, and he'll toot his flute for you.
Oh, Christ, boss someone!
Is it My Little Budgie?
Just a minute. Be fair, for goodness sake. I bet you wouldn't have done that if I was Michael Bublé.
If you were Michael Bublé, I would have got up and punched you.
Is the BA strike?
Yeah.
Eh? But, you were going to say.
Oh, you've got it. You've got it.
I was just lost in his eyes when he was singing, so I didn't buzz in.
Yeah, negotiations at the weekend were going well until Derek Simpson started tweeting.
He's a union leader.
Yeah, that's right. I was just going to say that.
Oh, really? I thought I'd say it for you.
Oh, well, did you want to read the card then?
No, the print's too big.
The Unite Joints... I'll give you an eye test any time.
That is one of the most delightfully sinister things I've ever seen. You turn to him and going, I'll give you an eye test any time.
It's like disability gladiators.
Disability gladiators?
I am myopia.
It's obviously on.
According to another Simpson tweet, there are a few people unhappy with my tweeting, calling me a moron, a dick, and several unrepeatable names.
You just said dick on the telly.
I know, I did.
You just said dick.
I'm getting the feel of it. Right.
It's Dirty Bruce.
Oh, shut up.
It's too hot for TV.
You're ruining a promising career, yeah?
Fingers on buzzers, teams. Here's your next clue. That's life. That's what all the people say. Oh, come on, for goodness sake.
To be honest, what are you doing? No, it's just you were approaching her again. I was a little bit...
Well, she didn't do her buzzer, did she?
Yeah, because there was a look
she
of
didn't
terror
press her
in her
buzzer.
eyes. She looked up as if to say, don't come near me, Bruce. I was saving her. That's a panic alarm. And to be honest with you, the way you were lying on that desk, I was worried about your hips. I don't want that flying out.
All right. I'd have a hip test with you.
Yes.
Eye test with you.
Yes.
A hip test with you.
There isn't even a thing called a hip test. Yes. That is even more sinister. I'll give you a hip test any day. No.
Hip test?
A hip test.
Get up here. You little short ass.
Get on your proper height.
Now give me a hip. Right, that's a hip test.
I would do it back.
And that's only just started.
Yeah. Good Lord. Right. I can't believe I've just had a hip fight. I hope I don't get hepatitis.
Ian Hislop and a no parking sign in Devon. Who was that?
Me.
Oh, sorry. that lights up when you buzz it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, that's a good idea, isn't it? So do it again. Oh, that's lovely.
It's like Blackpool in miniature.
Have you got one? Oh, yours are in red.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
What,
that's
did you think? Do you think someone had called the police?
What's the matter?
Sorry, I've got to get rid of this feed.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, no, continuity.
The continuity.
Yeah.
All right.
Shall we do it again?
What's that? What the hell is that? That's the first time I've seen that come on in 5 years.
The blue lamp. Do you remember the blue lamp?
Oh, yes, Jack Warner, yeah.
Yes.
Jack Warner. It's like sitting in an old people's home. Remember Googie Withers? The blue lamp?
And you...
Are you having soup?
And you... No, it's all down your shirt from yesterday. Right. They have all had a plant named after them, apart from the no parking sign, which
Oh, this is the
has
plant?
had a tree...
Oh, hang on, well, then I do
named
know this one. No,
Well,
you...
Now he's told you.
Yeah.
Give me the card and I'll get it right as well.
Yes.
You had a plant named after you?
At the Chelsea Flower Show,
Yeah,
yeah.
he has.
There's a big industrial plant in Bradford. The Ian Hislop Recycling Centre.
Ian Hislop, his dahlia was among 20 varieties that were shortlisted for Plant of the Year at the Chelsea Flower Show this week. Sadly, Ian didn't win.
Oh.
So no change there, then. Who wants to see a picture? Do you want to see a
Oh, yes,
picture
please,
of
absolutely,
Ian's
yeah,
dahlia? Yeah. How was the Ian Hislop dahlia described?
Beautiful, delicate, sunshine, a love of freedom, will ramble anywhere but can be house-trained up a wall.
Good, sounds like it. But no, it said it was suitable for a hot border. Ian, how did you react to learning that a dahlia had been given your name?
I was very flattered, so I'm going to get some small ones and then plant them in my garden, so every day I can look at myself.
If you find your wife dead-headed, then that might be a bit of a worry.
Ian Hislop has had a dahlia named after him. According to one guide to the Chelsea Flower Show, competition will be stiff in the Plant of the Year award, where Ian Hislop is up against an aubergine. Bit harsh on Paul, isn't it, Ian? It really is. Which means that at the end, you two couples have sat behind your desks all night, and you've given your all.
Yeah, I couldn't have tried any harder.
You couldn't have done more.
Couldn't have done it.
The votes have been counted and independently verified, and I can now announce tonight's winner. The winning couple is... Paul and Ross!
It's just... You know what? It's been an incredible journey.
Yeah. It's been a roller coaster, Bruce. It's been a roller coaster.
Incredible roller coaster journey. A journey on a roller coaster that I'll never forget. An emotional journey of roller coaster
That keeps going up.
Just up and up.
Up and up like all roller
All
coasters.
coasting and rolling.
Yeah.
Good night, and remember, keep dancing!
Come dancing, come on, come dancing. It's your big chance, come dance with me. Get your feet on the floor, get close to the one you adore. I know you want more and more, eventually. Come dancing, come on, come dancing. It's so easy, just follow my lead. And what a sound makes me twirl you around. Come on, come dancing. Come on and dance, dance, dance with me. Come on and dance with me.
And do you remember the boom as well with the human hair on it that was supposed to stop it reaching the beaches on Louisiana? It was just
I could never understand
isn't
that.
it?
All they needed to do is get a load of middle-aged men to clear out their belly button. The stuff that's in the middle, that would stop anything. In fact, just around this table, we could have stopped it. Not you, Penny.
Never. Or you could alternately get lots of really hairy men to actually swim through it, soaking it all up.
And these ideas aren't that much more ludicrous than what BP's been doing. I think the next one is they're going to put 1 million tons of chips in and set fire to it.
Well, that's very interesting to me.
Yes.
Why has it got pink stuff tied round it? What is going on with this?
It's a boy.
What?
It's a boy.
Congratulations, Penny.
What? And there I was, I didn't even know I was pregnant.
What has this man got to do with all this? He's Henry Waxman, a US energy... I'm only reading what you give me.
Is that what you said in Cabinet?
We've all been waiting for that, haven't we?
Obviously, lots of people are upset about the oil spill. Here's Senator James Carville talking about Obama.
It just looks like he's not involved in this, man. You got to get down here and take control of this, put somebody in charge of this thing and get this thing moving. We're about to die down here.
Here's what you want, He's somebody who looks like he sits on benches and shouts at buses. He looks like the kind, you know, if you walk into a pub and there's a bloke who looks like that at the bar and says, do you fancy a game of darts? You go, no.
And now they're blaming Obama, because he personally hasn't dived down after walking on the water and saved them. And they're furious with him. This is what happens when you're in power, isn't it, John? You get blamed for everything.
I don't know, I was never in power, but I always got blamed for everything.
Right.
One of the failed attempts to solve this crisis was to cover the leaking oil pipe with something described as a top hat. Bloody hell, has David Cameron been advising them?
Yes, indeed. Bring on the class war. From Lord Prescott.
I'm loving this. The only reason I know I've been booked is to put a Scouser right between these two. To try and get a little bit of balance.
No, you've been booked to field the first punch. And it's because the public were sick of all those people fiddling expenses, weren't they, John?
Yes, well, David Laws said, I hope that people
all those people who had to pay back money.
Yeah. I never did it. That was an insinuation, and I never did it, right?
What about the council tax that
I
you
didn't
paid
on
out
the council tax, no.
On Admiralty Arch?
Admiralty Arch, I paid it.
Yeah, but you paid it back,
You
didn't
believe everything in private eye. I think that's
yeah,
a problem.
I do.
Didn't you pay for one of your loo seats, though? Was that...
In the Lucy, another story, totally untrue. I have never had the taxpayer pay for my Lucy.
Just checking.
It's true I bought 2 loo seats. The taxpayer didn't.
Was it for the same loo?
Pardon?
What, a double-decker system?
Top kill.
My trouble is I admitted to having bulimia and everybody thought it was connected to the toilet seat.
So the toilet seats, you were quite clean on that one.
It wasn't true that the taxpayer paid for those toilet seats. Whatever was said, it was cleared. Because some Tory reported me to the Parliamentary Commissioner,
bastards.
they looked at it and admitted it wasn't true.
What
That'll do
about
for
the
me.
mock Tudor bean, then?
Well, the same with that. That was inquired into after a complaint by a Tory, and they said there was a replacement of rotten wood, as in other buildings, which was allowed under maintenance.
Right.
There you go. So we didn't pay for the loo seat, but we did pay for a lot of other shit you did.
Well, you can put it like that, I think.
Yes.
How did Laws defend himself paying his partner with taxpayers' money?
He said it was of no financial benefit to him and that he could have been richer if they'd bought a mortgage together. Well, I'm glad John's adopting a strong position on that. I'm using publicly funded buildings for secret love trysts, honestly.
I just want to say, if the producers are watching, I'm not taking the first punch.
But he's on my right, not the left. But he actually said... Well, of course, the Commons lost.
But are you going to take it? That's the big story.
Well, when they invite me, I'll tell you.
OK, and if you take it, will it be because your wife told you to?
No, certainly.
Because I keep
That's
reading
an insult
interviews
to my
with
wife.
you.
Well, that's the press. I told you it's like private eye. You can't believe everything you read in the papers.
But if you read an interview in The Scotsman in which they write down the words that you say to them and they seem to contain the phrase, either I will never take a peerage or my wife told me to, are we to assume you never said anything?
Yes, untrue, that.
Completely
yes.
untrue,
yes.
all of it.
And I tell you the trouble with journalists in the main, they get it all on the cuttings. They don't come and ask you. They see a...
Were you not interviewed by The Scotsman?
I don't know whether I was interviewed by The Scotsman.
No, you see, that's the trouble with politicians.
Well, I mean...
They never remember anything.
No, but you get interviewed by a lot of people and you have to be honest in your reply. I can't remember, but if you ask me, did I say that, I'd say no.
No, but do you always remember?
Do you believe everything you read in the paper?
No, obviously not. Do you believe everything that you say?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Well, I mean, that might be unusual, but yes, I do. Time now for round 2. Prescott's Egg of News. Now, I don't know if you remember, but someone threw an egg at me once. In case you don't, here's a reminder.
Ah, the dignity of office.
Well, Tony told me to go out and connect with the electorate, so I did that.
I'm not looking at that individual. I'd have hit him just for his haircut. But...
The New England World Cup squad has left for South Africa. Who got left behind?
The big news is young Theo wasn't allowed into the squad.
I was gutted. Gutted! Left out Theo! What is Fabio playing at?
Yes, this is the news that the Japanese Prime Minister has been ridiculed for his fashion sense after wearing this particular shirt. The Prime Minister had a long history of fashion crimes.
Right. Early Elvis.
Early Lionel Blair.
Oh, Noel Edmonds.
Lovely. Any comments here, Paul?
No, I just happy to get...
I think you borrowed that one, didn't you?
Yeah.
I really like that blouse. I think it's really pretty. And I tell you what, it feels lovely.
Oh.
And the shirt does too.
This is a sexual harassment in the workplace.
Ian, who else has been picked up on their fashion sense this week?
Why did you say Ian in that way?
Because I'm known for my fashion sense. I am the Gok Kwan.
Guess what? I'm at 75 years old. Can you guess the headline?
It's a hell of an anniversary.
Yeah.
No, don't boo me. I've been asked what the papers are saying. I'm a professional comic. I don't go around doing
It's
jokes
true,
like
it
that.
was even so at the time.
It's a laugh, of course.
Is
this on?
hell of a birthday.
One hell of a birthday. I was right. Thank you. Very much. And I'd like to see us return to a black and white world. Well, what are you clapping that for? It's an idiotic thing to say.
I told you to slow down, didn't I? Right now. What did you do that for? I could have been over there. The car was a bit... I could have been off. What did you do that for? I could have been off.
Right, no pass. No pass. That's it.
I could have been off in the first place, you silly...
That looks a little bit staged to me.
Are you saying reality shows are faked?
I'd say you'd film an awful lot of her driving before you got an incident like that so close to the camera.
Imagine filming loads of stuff just so you can get half an hour's programme out of it.
It really depends who's driving.
I've got what, and I'm going home to what?
I've got a cabinet post and I'm going home to my mate.
I've got caught out and I'm going home to face the missus.
The answer is...
But luckily,
my
I'm going to become a
iPad,
lord.
And I'm going... Can we do that again? Because the twit at the end here. You want to do it again?
Yeah, do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
OK, I've got what, and I'm going home to what?
I've got caught and I'm going home to the missus.
John, any advance on that?
No, that's not fair, because mine was funny before.
Okay, there you go.
I've got a cabinet post, and I'm going home to my good mate.
Prime Minister let slip he's what?
He's a Conservative. He's gay too.
The answer is, had the snip. This is the Prime Minister of New Zealand, who told reporters...
No, I'm not. Thank God for that. We want one with a bit of bollocks.
This is the Prime Minister of New Zealand, who told reporters he had a vasectomy. Mind you. No, you will not know how long this afternoon I've been trying to do that word. And I can tell you, and in the Prime Minister's questions, I had difficulties with other words. I made a reputation out of it. I tried to say the name Milosevic, and I thought, the Prime Minister asked the question and said, Milosevic. I thought, if you say it quickly, nobody will pick it up. Big mistake.
It's amazing, isn't it? Just written. It's written phonetically as well.
I know. And that's why I've been trying to do it. It's true. It is.
And you know what? You should have stood your ground and just said the snip. You don't have to say vasectomy.
They said that, but I thought to say the word properly if I could, and I didn't. But that's life. That's a Jewish mate.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's not only the word... go back again, then. I'll put snip in.
Oh, come on, you're being mean. It's a pretty small mistake in the light of the last 15 years.
Go on, John, give it a go. Take a deep breath.
OK, then.
Think of being handed a very, very delicate vase, piece of porcelain, and, you know, in a sort of vase. Ectomy. There we are.
Don't stop me. I think I've got it.
Ectomy.
Look, I'm on trial. Let me go. Let me go.
OK,
right.
go and go.
Are you doing the first bit first, right?
Let's do the first part first, second part second.
Well, I've got this.
Right. Let's do every single word at once.
Bloody hell. Do I read that out?
Yeah, read that out.
OK.
Yeah. Do you want to, God's sake, give him some more?
This is the Prime Minister of New Zealand who told the reporters he'd had a snip.
This could be confusing. This could be confusing. If you went to the barber's and he says, do you fancy a snip behind the ear? You're in trouble.
I am in trouble.